How'd you like that video title? This is only my third YouTube video. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I've already figured out the clickbait. So now I've got a clickbait title for my video. I'm supposed to go on for like 10 minutes and 2 seconds and not actually answer the question. But I'm not that kind of guy. So I'm going to tell you how to get on the Alone Show. Are you ready? It's tricky. Be yourself. That's it. That is the only way you're going to get on the show, is to be yourself. Now, that does not guarantee you a place on the show, but if you pretend to be someone you're not, I guarantee you, you're not going to get on the show. That's for sure. They want you to be yourself, to show your own personality through. And you're not going to fool anyone. You may get a chance to do phone interviews. Past that, you may get a chance to do video chat interviews. Some of you may get a chance to do videos at home to showcase your skills and your personality. And casting people, casting directors are paid to look at people and analyze what's going to make good people on TV. And they know how to spot someone who's faking a personality. If you're a serious person, but you try and be goofy in the video and it's not natural, it's not going to work. If you try to be Bear Grylls and you're not Bear Grylls, and I don't even think Bear Grylls is actually Bear Grylls on TV, you're not going to get on the show. That is not going to work. You have to be yourself. Now, you have to have the prerequisite skills. You have to have the ability to go out there and survive a decent amount of time. You have to have the history, the background, the knowledge. But they want to see a personality. And they want different personalities. They don't want everyone to be the same. So you're going to have all kinds of different people with all kinds of different backgrounds. And that's what makes the show interesting. If we were all the same, that would be an extremely boring show. So be yourself. May not get you on, but it's the only way that you are going to get on the show. Now, that being said, if you have never done any filming, don't think that doesn't mean you're going to get on, not going to get on the show, because I had never taken a selfie before. I've never done a video of myself before this. I never had social media until after I was on the show. I only created social media accounts just as a place for people to reach me about the show. Right before I went on TV is when I created all my social media. Never had it before. Never had any clue about talking to a camera. In fact, the first bit of footage that I did to submit to the show, I showed it to my wife, and she's like, what are you doing, dummy? You can't film vertical. You got to do landscape. And I didn't know. But I found that I can communicate reasonably clearly, I think, to a camera, that I can show off what I'm doing. I can teach, I can express my personality, I can do all those things in front of a camera. But just because you don't have experience doing that doesn't mean you can't do it. But be yourself. The different personalities on the show is what makes it interesting. We all do different things. We do different stuff. That's what makes it interesting. You know, this season, watching Teresa do that pit house, it was super cool. Now, would I still, after watching her do that, would I go build a pit house? No, it's not my thing. It's not my style. But I loved watching her do it. That is super cool. Biko goes out there and swims across that frigid water. Would I do that? Nope. But I'm not Biko. That guy's a seal. I've been swimming with that guy in some Arctic lakes, and I'm headed for shore because I'm frozen, and he's out there like it's bath water. You know, he can swim in the Arctic. So that's for Biko to do, not for me to do. Coulter's boat. He built that really cool boat. If I went back, would I build that boat? Actually, maybe I would, because that was a really cool boat. That's a great idea. But that being said, we all have different experiences. We have different things that we're good at. We have different personalities, and that's what makes the Alone Show great. I see a lot of people saying, why don't you, all the contestants should be screened that they're, nobody's got a family. It's all single guys who are like Navy SEALs and experts in survival, and they've got no medical history of anything wrong with them, and nothing else going on in their life. They've got nothing to live for other than winning this show. There's a title for that show. It's called Boring. That would be lame. That would be a terrible show. That would not be interesting. That would not be exciting at all. What's interesting is seeing different personalities, different people, different backgrounds, different skill sets going out there and showing that you can survive using different techniques, different methods. There's not always one right way to do something, and that's what makes the Alone Show super cool. So, be yourself. Go ahead and try. I will say they get something like 10 to 20,000 applicants per season, and they have to narrow it down to 10 people. How I got picked, I have no idea, but I'm super grateful. Be yourself if you want to go on the show. That's how you do it. Now, for the rest of the video, I had told all of you that I was going to come back, revisit my site where I had done some of the filming for some of my casting tapes that I had done at my location. This is my cabin property here. However, in true YouTuber fashion, I lied. Gotcha. Because that's what all YouTubers do. They lie about what's upcoming. I'm kidding. I really did want to work on the shelter a little bit and kind of revamp it, spruce it up and everything. However, work had me busy all through Saturday. Today is Sunday. I've got a partial day out here. And I really have plenty of time coming this fall. I'm setting aside time. I'm creating time. That way I can really show you in detail some bushcraft things and some survival things and the things that I do and the techniques I use. So I'm not going to get into redoing this shelter today. I will kind of show you a few things that were involved, and I'll also tell you a couple funny things that some of you can take to heart if you are trying to get on the show and if you do get a chance to make casting videos. You're trying to be yourself and you're trying to make these perfect videos, right? You want to be perfect. You want to be Survivor Man. Like, hey, I want to be Les Stroud and have all this thing perfect. Like, everything has to be perfect for this casting video. And I'm out here on our cabin property, and we've got, it's only 6 acres, but it's mostly raw land around it, and there's 1,500 acre cattle farm on the backside of the property here. So it's reasonably remote. It's all very raw land around here, a few cabins and things like that. But what's always going to happen is I come out here to film last year my casting tapes, and I've got someone building a cabin half a mile down the road, and this property slopes down to a creek, and then up here I'm on the backside of my property up on this hill, and everything echoes up here. So I'm up here trying to film my videos, and I've got chainsaw going right when I'm trying to talk and right when I'm trying to explain something. So I stop and I do some other prep stuff and try and film, and somebody's dog starts barking. And then later on, I'm trying to do some filming. Someone decides it's a great time to do target practice. So I've got gunshots going off in the background. And the second weekend, I came back to do more filming. And there was a baby cow, a calf, out here in the creek, just making a horrendous noise. I don't know how many of you have heard a 4-day-old calf separated from its mother, what it sounds like. But you try and film a serious survival video casting tape while that's going on. And while I'm trying to do this and I'm under the gun and I've got limited time and I've set aside 2 weekends to do all of this filming, I find out that a tree had fallen on the fence line between the cattle farm and my property, and some cows had come in. I don't know if they gave birth to this calf down here on my property or if it followed them in and it couldn't get out. But I find a probably 4-day-old calf down at the creek in a ravine, and it can't get back out. So while I'm in the middle of filming, I've got this calf just bleeding its head off, making a horrendous sound. I went down. I couldn't lead it. I tried to grab a rope and lead it. I ended up having to do a fireman's carry with this calf and hike a 1/4 mile back to the farm, and there was no cows around. And no one lives at the farm. They have people that come throughout the day and take care of them. So I ended up having to carry this calf like another 1/2 mile through the field till I could find other cows and get it back with its family, all while trying to film this stuff. So stuff like that is gonna go wrong, and don't hide that. That's real life. Not everyone can go to some pristine forest with no one for 100 miles and do this casting tape. So don't try and hide that stuff. That's gonna be there. And I will tell you that it was absolutely miserable. I don't typically come out in spring and summer to the property here and camp out. One of the biggest things, aside from being so hot and humid, is the ticks are so bad here. So the first weekend that I spent overnight in this shelter, I was picking ticks off like crazy. Before I went to bed, I went down to the stream, stripped down, tried to scrub up, tried to pick off any ticks I could find. The next day, pick any ticks off, do all my filming. I'm trying not to let it distract me while ticks are all over. But I think I have all of them off my body. I go home from spending a weekend here filming, and my wife picks an additional 13 ticks off from me while I'm out here. So part of the reason why I don't come out here in the middle of summertime and roll around in the ground and, pile up leaves and make debris shelters and things like that, because it's just kind of miserable. It's the worst part about here. I typically spend fall, when it's a good time for deer hunting and hog hunting here, and in the winter time when it's nice and cool, it's a great time to be out here. Summertime's pretty miserable. So that's it. We will see you on the next end.